Hey you guys, welcome back to another video. It is raining. As soon as I get out here, it starts to rain. But I really want to get some things in the ground, and I'm not going to let a little sprinkle stop me. So we will continue on. If it gets too terribly bad, then I'll abort my mission. But I want to get some of my plant stash dwindled down. I did get a few things planted, but I want to continue on and plant some other things. Real quick, y'all, let me show you a Japanese maple that I dug up from the side of the house. And it kind of looks a little perched out there in the landscape. I'm looking at it right now. But it's going to grow up to be something quite spectacular, and I think it'll fill in that space really nice. Also, really quick, from the plant haul video that I showed you guys earlier, you may remember the variegated hydrangea, and I told you I wanted to order me another one. Well, I did. They have 3 more left, so I did order another one. I have not looked back online since to see if they have any more. So let me turn you around and show you guys the spot where I was thinking of putting the hydrangea. Okay, so right there is the beautyberry bush, and back here is where I was thinking of planting the hydrangeas. I'm gonna get out in the rain to show you guys. So right here in this spot is where I was thinking that it would live. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm really wanting to save these for a back corner. Let me show you the back corner that I'm thinking about. Let me show you the hydrangea for those of you who may not have watched my plant haul video. Here's the hydrangea. This is the first editions. It's called Light of Day, and it is a variegated hydrangea. Isn't it beautiful? And look at all the bloom clusters already on this thing. And this is how this plant came out of the box, you guys. Like I said, the box was pretty beat up, but the plant itself was in perfect condition. But I'm thinking of planting it down below in this little shady nook. So I'm thinking right down in here is where I plan on creating another flower bed, so it will kind of just be an extension, and it'll go around and then wrap the perimeter. And right there is where my little Japanese maple is that I planted. But I was thinking like back in this area with some akuba, and then planting the hydrangeas in front. But here's my deal: the akuba is spotted, the hydrangea is variegated. I feel like it's going to look really, really busy. So now I feel like I'm going to have to change what my backdrop plant is going to be in order to make that work, because initially I wanted the akuba there, and then I wanted that hydrangea, rhythmic blues, or like a Nico blue, or no, Nantucket was the other one, or more penny max. They'll get a decent size as well. And here is my penny mac right here. It's the blue blooming hydrangea, and I thought that that would be beautiful with there's the akuba right there. So I had thought of just a little backdrop of akuba here, and then have the hydrangeas come out in front of that. I thought that would be a really pretty look. This area gets pretty dappled sun at best, because you can see we got the loblolly pines up there and a couple of poplar trees, and then the tulip tree for me overhead here. So these are fairly large trees, and also the cherry tree of my neighbor right there next door. So that was just a thought that I had, was putting them down here. But let me show you guys where my little Japanese maple ended up. It's been growing by my gas meter for like the last year, and like I said, it looks a little perched right here. It does, but it doesn't. It'll be fine. It's actually going to be in a flower bed, so I'm not really overly concerned with it sticking out right here. So all of this, I decided to come about 8 feet out and have the flower bed be about 8 feet deep. We're not losing a whole lot of grass space. I know that sounds like a lot, but the kids honestly don't play along the edge of the fence line here. They just never come this far down into the yard for whatever reason. They tend to stick to, they love running up and down this little trail right here. And then they tend to stick to this area right along in here. And like I said, it's a decent sized backyard. And then they definitely tend to stay in this area right up in here and along in here. And then the whole entire front yard and side yards they play in. So they have ample place to play. If they want to come out here, kick a ball around, play or whatever. It's not like I'm sucking up all of the garden space. I'm not taking it all. I'm going to finally get around to transplanting. I think the things that I'm going to move right now are going to be my, right there is my smokebush, my Winecraft Gold smokebush. I just don't feel like it's getting enough sun to be productive where it is. I don't know. I think I'm just going to walk around and figure out things to do. I feel a little stuck because I don't have my other flower beds done right now, and I have a ton of plants for them. And it's like I told my husband, I may just go ahead and plant them where I know that I want them, and then I can come through with my cardboard and my other things. My cardboard and my compost or topsoil and my mulch when the time comes, and then create the flower beds around where they are, because I know where I want them to be, but I think I'm just having a difficult time because the flower beds aren't created yet, and it's giving me a little bit of a block. So for right now, until I decide that that's what I truly want to do, I am going to go ahead and move my Winecraft Gold smokebush. I wanted to pop on here real quick and show you that this is where my no-dig flower bed was. The cardboard is absolutely gone. The grass is absolutely gone. And it's not even been but a handful of weeks. Maybe, no, yeah. I think we're going into week 2, but we've been getting so much rain, it's ridiculous. So I just want to let you know that it truly does work, and the grass that's underneath it, you can see some little grass bits here. Like right there, some little bits of grass and stuff that's left. It's dead, so it does work. Most people suggest you leave it for like a couple of months before you plant in it. Now I can still see obviously some green specks of grass here from where I didn't get the cardboard down on top of that or the dirt, but other than that, it's good to go. So I'm telling you, it's a good, easy way to go, and it doesn't take all day. All right, let's keep planting. Guys, let's take a look at the things that we put in the ground really quick. So this right here is a Winecraft Gold smokebush by Proven Winners. It does like sun to part shade conditions. It'll get probably at least 6 hours of sunlight over here. It's hardy zones 5 through 8, and it'll get to be about 4 to 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So it'll be big enough right here to give us a little privacy when we're sitting underneath here once my plant stash is gone and we get this fixed up. It should be just big enough to give us a little bit of privacy, and then I can plant some other shrubs like whoop, right here, like directly behind it. I think that'll be pretty, and then bump some up. Let me zoom out a little. Then bump some up like right in here, and just kind of block this whole little section off. It'll be a nice little private corner. And then right here is where I went ahead and put the other hardy geranium. That is a Boom Chocolata by Proven Winners, and it'll get to be a decent sized little plant, at least 2 to almost 3 feet tall and wide, I do believe is what I read on that. If I'm incorrect, I'll put the stats up on the screen for you. But yeah, so I'm glad I feel better. I'm glad I finally got that transplanted. The root ball was kind of dry, but the soil right here is pretty moist. But I will go ahead and give it a little bit of water, and maybe that's why it was struggling some. It's not really struggling, it's just sitting there. It's not really putting on a whole lot of growth, and maybe it's because it wasn't getting enough water being underneath those really large mature trees they tend to soak up a lot of the moisture. So I do kind of supplement water for the plants that are underneath there, just so that they get their fill too. All right, so I had an idea. Sorry, there's a plane. One moment. All right, so I had a bit of an idea. The Magic Show White Wands Veronica that I picked up from Lowe's the other day, I thought it might be pretty to do a cluster of them, like, I don't know, somewhere around in here. I think I only have like 4 of them, but I think to have them right here would be really, really pretty. And if I ever get more, I could add to it and just make this a nice little thick drift of white. The pollinators love it, and it's really beautiful when it's in bloom. I think it'll be very pretty up against the smoke bush. I thought of starting the drift over here, but considering that this thing right here is going to get fairly large, I have to bump it over a little bit and then start the drift here. Or do I want to start it from here? Let me set up the camera. We'll try it both ways, and then it may just be that I don't want them over here at all. So let me try it real quick. With the rain. All right, here it is. I love the way that they turned out. So this is, again, Magic Show White Wands Veronica by Proven Winners. It is a full sun perennial, so you want to give it at least 6+ hours of sunlight a day, and it will get it right here. It will reach probably about 14 to 16 inches tall and a max spread of about 20 inches and a minimum of about 16. And they are hardy zones 4 through 8. I am in Georgia. I'm a zone 8A, so they should do very well for me. This is my first time growing these, and I'm pretty excited about them because they're very beautiful. Let me zoom out. All right, there they are. All right, I have one more thing that I think I'm going to, look, there's a bumblebee already over there. They were covering this plant at Lowe's too, by the way. When I went to Lowe's, they were all over it. You could just hear them buzzing. All right, I want to get my zebra hydrangea transplanted to where my Bathsheba rose was. I moved my Bathsheba rose. It is right here so that I can grow it along my fence line next summer, next spring, next season, whatever. I highly doubt it's going to flush out enough for me this year. Sorry, y'all, there's a sweat bee or something that's just like all around me. So anyway, I don't think it's going to flush out for me this year. Like, I see some new growth on it, but I had to cut it back pretty severely in order just to transplant it because it is a climbing rose and it was out there. But I mean, it's got a little bit of new growth here and there. So we'll see what happens. I'm not mad about it, even if it, I know this probably sounds sad, but even if it doesn't flush out for me next year, I'm still not mad about it either. I'll just get another one. Let me grab my shovel. Oh shoot, I need another bag of biotone. I think I got a bag of plant tone back here. That'll work just as well. All right, so it is on the other side of the yard. Not too much stuff in my hands. So it does look quite empty without my rose right here. Oh my Lord, the squirrels throwing stuff out of the trees. I hear it falling behind me. All right, so this is where Bathsheba lived. And she got just enough sun to do her thing into bloom. But I'm going to move my zebra hydrangea. You guys, I nursed this thing back to health. It literally was probably 2 inches out of the ground when I dug it up last spring and moved it over here. But now look at her. There she is right there. So I think right here will be a beautiful spot for her. She blooms beautifully. White, very pretty white blooms. And she's called a zebra hydrangea because I don't know if you can see, but her stems are black. So they don't if I'm not mistaken, they don't emerge black right off the rip. I think they are actually green and then they turn that black is what I've been noticing since she's been growing on over here. But it's so beautiful, and look how massive those leaves are. You probably can't tell on camera how big the leaves are, but it's a big leaf. So I think since it is raining, this area stays very moist. Hydrangeas and hostas love it over here. They just thrive, as you can tell by this big daddy right here. This is a diamond lake. So I'm going to set up the camera. We're going to try to get it dug out with as much root balls as I possibly can, because I don't want anything else to happen to this beautiful plant. And then we will get it in the hole, honestly, all I gotta do is dig that top layer out. There's plenty of dirt there for it. And put some plant tone in there and she'll be good to go. Also, I thought about, I have my Popstar hydrangea. And I thought, but see, it's already starting to grow over there. I thought of trying to plant it right in here and just kind of let it grow out and over. I mean, and I could move some of that lamb's ear out of the way and transplant it somewhere else in the garden. It would be beautiful. But this is where I was thinking of putting the other hydrangea right in this corner, because right in here is where the sun kind of stops. So as you can see, my little mountain hydrangea, I see some little brown spots, just a few, where it gets just a little bit more sun than it probably is happy with, but it's still very productive, as you can tell by all of the blooms and the buds that are on it. But anyway, that was a thought, just loading this hillside up with smaller stature hydrangeas. It's a pain having to get up there and actually try to plant something on that hill, because you just constantly keep sliding down it. But I would rather have a lot of plants up there, kind of keep the soil and the mulch from eroding off of the hillside there. But I just have a bunch of ajuga right there, some sedums, some variegated liripe, and a bunch of my favorite, which is Helen von Stein's lamb's ear. So I'm beginning to wonder, though. I thought it was all Helen von Stein. This looks quite different. Maybe it's because it's smaller, because these kind of look like that too initially. We'll have to wait and see. If it is different, though, I may move this clump and plant my little Popstar hydrangea right here. That would be a perfect little spot for it to be. And then move this clump somewhere else in the garden space where it can live on. That's a thought. It is starting to rain, and it actually feels really good, though. So yeah, and it actually feels really good to get that transplanted out of there, because I was so concerned about it just growing and getting too happy right there and content. It actually dug up very easily, and I just slid it on over and plopped it over there in the hole. So I do think I have one bag of mulch up front. That area is very muddy looking, so I will come in and sprinkle a little bit of mulch down, or maybe even topsoil if I have another bag of topsoil, which I don't think that I do. But it is a wonderful day to transplant, since it is already starting to rain. That ground was so moist, I'm not even going to water that baby in. I think it'll be perfectly fine, considering the day is overcast as it is and as rainy as it is. I think it's going to be just fine. I don't think I'm going to water anything in actually today. I'll see how much rain we get, and then I'll come back out later on in the evening and kind of go from there. But you guys, I think, first of all, I'll pop a picture of this hydrangea up if I can find one of it when it's in bloom, because it's absolutely beautiful, and the stats in case you want to find you one. I did find this a couple of years ago at Pike's Nursery, though. But okay, it's starting to come down really hard out here, you guys, so I think I'm going to wrap up today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me today and hanging out with me on this rainy day in the garden. I appreciate you all so much. Again, you all are such a blessing to me. Thank you to all the new subscribers out there, and also to the new members. I see you and I love you, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye guys.